We are now welcoming two experts coming from a European cloud service provider, OVH, in order for them to share with us insights on delivering sovereign cloud. But there's delivering sovereign cloud and delivering sovereign cloud at scale, and this is what our two experts are going to talk about. We have the Global Product Marketing Leader at OVH, Laurent Blin, and Head of International Product Marketing, Stefan Schafer. The floor is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's too late to good morning and too early to good afternoon, so hello. I'm Stefan Schafer and that's Laurent Blin. I'm heading up the product marketing for private cloud and bare metal, and he's heading up the marketing for product marketing for VMware. We are here from a cloud provider perspective, so OVH Cloud. We of course have to do a lot with sovereignty requirements from the market, but they are a little bit blurry sometimes, to be honest. And so what we need to do is we need to translate them into a marketing story and also in a technology story. And how we did that for some customers and how we do that in general, how we address the market with a sovereignty story, that's what we want to explain to you.
I will go just regarding last year. Maybe some of you met Sylvain. He explained, in fact, the sovereignty linked to cooking and how do you cook in your kitchen what you want and not something that someone wants for you. So it's really where we are going to go together with the at-scale approach that we are going to open today. It's opening the kitchen of OVH Cloud, opening, in fact, how we build, in fact, the sovereignty from the beginning, because from OVH Cloud, it's not providing sovereign cloud. In fact, it's a core value that we have from the beginning. So we are going to develop this part in this session, and of course, don't hesitate to ask your question at the end.
Okay, and then we jump.
Exactly.
Slide. There we go.
So the first insight that I would like to go through is the last survey that we got from IDC. You can see really the acceleration of the sovereign cloud in front of us. You can see that 84% of organizations currently are in fact planned to do sovereign cloud in the next 12 months. So the 12 months started a bit earlier, but we can see that in the revenue that we have at OVH Cloud. I can share that just the Secnum Cloud revenue multiplied per 3 the last year on our side. So it's really a trend that we see in many usage where the sovereignty is in the middle. And if you go on the right side, you can see that it's growing not only in France, as I'm a French guy, but it's also something that we see in all countries. You can see on the top in Italy, where it's the largest growth that you can get from the sovereign cloud request. So that's really an insight that we have all together. We are an ecosystem. We work with many of you as MSP, but we are an ecosystem in Europe. We can be proud to be European people in your country, and yes, there is hyperscalers. It's a part of the ecosystem in the world. But we have so much to provide to all customers in Europe. We can be proud and carry on working together. Really happy to have this day together, connecting with more and more people to carry on developing the business. So just on the second slide, the most important thing, I'm going back to what Laurent Allard said just before. The three main pillars are the same. If we can have different framework, etc. But the first one is data sovereignty. The second one is technical sovereignty or technology sovereignty, and the operational sovereignty. So we are going to open the box via these three pillars. And in the first section, so on the next slide, you can jump on this one. We are going to develop, in fact, this topic. So maybe you can jump on the next part.
I can do that.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Totally. Okay. So what do we see as OVH Cloud as a sustainability, sovereignty, etc.? So we see a lot of topics that are currently requested in the market and that we need to address as a provider, obviously, in RFQ processes, etc. So sustainability is one topic which is also popping up and is also very relevant. But today we talk about trusted cloud and data sovereignty. On top of that, we do a best performance performance ratio, and if it comes to price performance ratio, and we have an active ecosystem. Why do we build that? We built that actually based on a water cooling system, and we will explain that in a minute. So in our basis is actually a water cooling system that should have saved money, and it saves money because it is much more efficient if it comes down to cooling and into electricity usage. And based on that, and based on the whole architecture that's coming with it, we are more sustainable, and we are also automatically data sovereign. That has something to do with the technology, and we will explain that a little bit later. Best price performance ratio is coming through the lower electricity usage, and we build an active ecosystem, and VMware is one of our partners, or Broadcom, to be perfectly honest. I should use the right wording. And we prepared a little video for you. I'm not sure whether that's working properly. Oh, too fast. Does it stop?
Today, we live in an exciting data revolution where technology is rapidly changing the way we work and live. At OVH Cloud, we are at the forefront of this digital shift as a leading global cloud provider and the #1 cloud solution in Europe, serving customers worldwide. We are independent and vertically integrated with our data centers across our own fiber optic network, bringing businesses everywhere a secure and efficient alternative to the other cloud hyperscalers with complete respect for data protection. And just how are we different from the tech giants? Here are 4 key advantages. Our history is grounded in developing innovative efficiencies with a clear vision for a more sustainable future. We own the full value chain, and we manage the product lifecycle. With our vibrant ecosystem of partners, customers, and our common goals, we offer a complete portfolio of cloud solutions in total compliance to industry and open source standards. And as an ecosystem, we are driven by purpose, united by common product values. Building the future of technology for all.
So regarding this video, which is really a marketing one, but when I was thinking about sharing this one, because you can see in the video the industrial part of OVH Cloud. In fact, we are also independent, and regarding the sovereignty aspect, we are managing our own servers, we are assembling our own servers, we are building our own data centers, and that's really core value also. We are going to develop really quickly this one after, but you can see, for example, during the COVID, it was an issue regarding the shortage of components, getting hardware from different providers, and we were completely autonomous because by managing the supply chain, by building our own servers, it was possible to do it. So that's one of the points that we can see here. And something that we are going to develop here is also, you saw the different, we call the smart on our side. So being simple, multi-local. And in the multi-local is really important because when we say multi-local, it means a lot of things. When you want to provide a cloud, let's say in Germany, when you want to provide the cloud in Quebec, for example, you need to be compliant regarding the regulation locally, but you have also other aspects that everyone are thinking about. So do you have support in the local language? Do you have data center locally, of course? Do you have also the knowledge regarding the management of network and how do you manage this one on this side? So there is a large ecosystem that we are managing behind this multi-local approach. So let's go through the first aspect, data sovereignty.
So let's see how we address data sovereignty. As I said, we have a lot of customers that are asking for data sovereignty without having a clear definition behind it, as we discussed that very often today. So we approach data sovereignty in a way that is then addressing the customer's concerns, put it like that. So if you look at data privacy regulations all over the world, there are a lot of them where we don't have influence and where we have influence. So from a European perspective, we have influence on European regulations. So GDPR, Schrems, CNIL, EUCS if it's coming up, and of course all the local versions of it like C5 and Secnum Cloud that we discussed a lot. So in our world we were always looking for European harmonized regulation, and we know it will maybe come in the near or it was not so near future. And until then, we have to comply to a lot of local requirements like G5 or Secnum Cloud or then ARGIT or whatever is then applicable in the relevant country. But there are, of course, also others like Cloud Act, and we discussed that a lot. And we very often hear the requirement we want to be Cloud Act free. And Cloud Act free, that basically means that the data center localization is totally free from any access from any American security operations. So that's what we call Cloud Act free, and actually from our perspective, and also that has been confirmed by a lot of studies, only a company that has a headquarter in the European Union or outside of the US can actually be really Cloud Act free. Whether you have a data center in France but your headquarter is in Seattle, that still makes you not Cloud Act free. And we saw that with the Scottish example that Laurent showed to us. And this is actually one of the clear requirements that we very often hear, and where it comes down to. We need to have a Cloud Act free installation and solution. And the same is, of course, the case for Russian or Chinese laws that we also, or our customers also don't want to be under the regulation.
Maybe just on this one, can you just remind that we have two entities? So,
Sorry?
Yeah, we have two entities.
Yeah, we have two entities. Yeah, okay, we can add that. If we go back, we have an entity in OVH Cloud US. We keep that totally separate. So if you look at in the US, sometimes you might see a data center from OVH Cloud. That's a totally different company. So we have two different companies. And that's actually, if AWS or Microsoft or whoever wants to do it and wants to become Cloud Act free, they need to have two different companies. That's what we did, what they don't do, because it's of course very difficult to do, and it has also two different technology stacks in the end and two different developments. So it's not easy to have an affiliate in the US and in Europe and have that Cloud Act free European one. But we did that because we are actually based in Europe, and the US version is totally kept separate. Data sovereignty at OVH Cloud basically means we want to be immune against extraterrestrial or extraterritorial requests. Terrestrial as well, maybe, but not so sure about that. But we will see. We, of course, do not use customer data, and we have seen that if you look at AI training examples, etc., a lot of competitors are using customer data to train, for example, their AI platform. You choose, or our customers choose, where the data is. So we have 36, 34 data centers around the world. So it's always growing. So it's we always need to keep up with the right number. And you choose where you want to have your data, and we apply to the highest security standards. And this is the map of the security standards. And you see it's typically European. We have in every country an own standard. I have to say, it's not very easy to become compliant to Secnum Cloud. And we are Secnum Cloud compliant. We are also C5 compliant. But it's always a very difficult process. And when I heard this morning that if there is a European certification, then the local ones will become superfluous, that's not very good news, to be honest, because it took us a lot of work to become Secnum Cloud compliant, and then we need to become EUCS compliant, and so it might be tricky, but okay, for the moment it is what it is, and we are compliant with all these standards. Also, some of the standards which are, let's say, for verticals relevant, like healthcare certification in France. And the second pillar, you remember, we have data sovereignty, we have technical sovereignty and operational sovereignty. The second one is technical sovereignty.
Exactly. And just regarding the important thing of having Secnum Cloud and having the highest level of security is at the end providing choice. If you don't have this possibility, there is a blocker. We speak more about, let's say, government, public sector. This is one segmentation that we have on the market, but it's also having the highest level of security. It's also having, for example, we have some cyber security companies that they build, in fact, all their stacks in the cloud. So having this possibility of providing the best level of security from a standard is really mandatory from customer needs. So when we go through the technical sovereignty, I will just go back to the innovation. Yeah, we mentioned this one from a question this morning about can we use and have a bridge between innovation and in fact sovereign cloud. Yes, we can, and this is exactly what we do at OVH Cloud from the ground, I would say, from the data center, from the water cooling that we do, also managing the different aspects of building the product and having a large ecosystem of product. I will show you just after, but we can say that in Europe, we can't find a company that provide, in fact, a large portfolio as we can find from cloud providers. Let's say that there is some use cases that we can't cover, but after hybrid cloud can be compliant or leveraging some features on-prem. So if we go back, yeah, we can see for this example in this slide all the portfolio that we have at OVH Cloud, and we don't speak about only IaaS, which is really the largest part of the portfolio. Of course, we are really leading the bare metal, the dedicated server market, with a large portfolio where you can get a really small computer to completely crazy, insane configuration that you could get for many usage. But also you can see also AI is part of the story, where we have a lot of customers, and also we acquired some companies to providing also something which is really useful currently, because there is more, let's say, new needs and new users. When we go to data scientist people, when we speak about AI, for example, they are not thinking as we are when we speak about infrastructure. And the data platform is one of the things. It's completely a SaaS solution where you can manage your data via this one, and keeping, in fact, the same value that we have from the beginning. So if we just go back to the previous slide, so regarding the technical sovereignty, we really follow the open source aspect of the sovereignty, because for us, it's really a core value that needs to be in the middle to leverage, in fact, the possibility to be sovereign. But also we are leveraging all the standard technology that they are in the middle of the market, where it's really important to build together as partners and having, in fact, the same value. It's exactly what we did with VMware during the last year regarding Tanzu. Tanzu was dependent of AWS in the past, and now it's deconnected. So, and in VCF, you can see all the features are completely disconnected. So you can have, as we say, the air gap solution for different projects. So that's really something that we have in the second part. Interoperability and reversibility is really in the middle. Maybe some of you know, but there is also 3PO, which is a framework that we have also in Europe, explaining how to manage, in fact, the reversibility. And we have documentation on all products to explain how you can move from on-prem to OVH Cloud or from OVH Cloud to another location. So that's also really core value that we have. And the local ecosystem is really core. So we have some partners that they are here today, and we build together, because let's say that as a cloud provider, we are providing the fuel. And in fact, the value of sovereignty is human people. Even if we have some people in the company, it's always a story between human people, and at the end, there is people in each country where they are really relevant, for, of course, because I just use the language or the history or different value that we have. We are in Europe, as I said yesterday also to Stan. It's really a real differentiator that we have compared to the US. We have all a story regarding our country, regarding our company. So when we build something which is sovereign, it means a lot of things, and having an ecosystem, building together, is really core value that we build inside the technical sovereignty. Sorry. So we can go to the third aspect.
Operational sovereignty.
Exactly.
Operational sovereignty means, so we said you can select the location of your data center or your workload if you want to spread it over several data centers, totally on your own. Now we have the right numbers here, 42 data centers in 17 locations, 4 continents, 44 points of presence, and we have connected it via our own network. So these are all connected via our own network without access from outside. So you can switch and interoperate between the data centers as you want to do it. And that is one aspect of operational sovereignty. So there is no outside access through the whole process wherever you select the location of your workload or your data center or database. On the other hand, operational sovereignty also means, of course, we own the factory and the supply chain. As you heard already, we do water cooling. Because we do water cooling, we need to build our servers our own, as Laurent already mentioned. That basically means we own the whole chain because we build our servers in Croix and in Bois-Noir in Canada. And we also need to build our data centers our own because we have water-cooled data centers, so we can't go do co-location, etc. That means our data centers are also totally separate and independent of all others. So we are not locating at a American co-locator or anything like that. We have our own data centers, very often built in brownfield approach. So that means we use old factory buildings and build then our data centers inside. Network and security, I just said, we own our own network, and that's building another level of security. And then we have also production and support. And some of our customers are asking for sovereign operational sovereignty, which basically means all operations shall always 24/7 come out of Europe. So very often, if you look at some of our competitors, and we also do that sometimes, so that we say, okay, we have 24/7 support, but during the nighttime it's provided by Canada, for example. If customers don't want that, then we can provide that as well, and that is then a special level of support sovereignty or operational sovereignty that we offer. And these are were the 3 levels of sovereignty that we normally use in our customer communication. And we have another video for you, I believe.
Data sovereignty is going to rewrite the rules, is rewriting the rules of the digital economy. And it's going right back to the basics. Whose data is it? Who gets to control it? Who gets to see what's happening with it?
And where is the data actually located? And is it complying to local legislation? And how do you manage it? Data sovereignty is all about controlling your data.
The risks of not looking into data sovereignty early enough are, number 1, non-compliance with the law. Number 2, selling less because your customers don't think their data is safe. And number 3, actually having your data leaked.
Because of the rising use of cloud services, this has become even more important because you can have data centers all around the world. You can, in an instant, move data from one jurisdiction to another.
The fundamental tension is that in Europe, we have very strict data privacy regulation, but the biggest tech companies in the world are American companies.
You need to understand the law of the country where your data is. So for instance, if you are a French company and you store your data in a US data center, your data will be subject to the American regulation, such as the Cloud Act. Depending on the regulation, the local authorities might access your data without informing you previously or even afterwards. It can be used for economic or intelligence purposes in that country.
It's a definite distinction between the way the US has done data and the way EU is doing data.
OVH Cloud had digital data sovereignty at its heart since it's been founded over 20 years ago. We've been part of many European organizations defending digital data sovereignty.
We have 34 data centers in the UK, in Europe or in Asia. In Americas, we have specific entities to host your data and avoid any contamination between the US and the rest of the world.
I think we have specific and unique advantage against all the other players. We believe that the most important for our customers is to keep them the freedom of choice. We do not touch customer data. We do not compete with our customers. We give them the tools to be free and to decide by themselves of what they want to do with their data.
To make sure that you continue to have that freedom, that flexibility, you need to think about data sovereignty now, because if you have to sort it out later on, it's going to be more complicated.
I would advise other startups to think of the compliance aspect not as a problem that they have to engage with, but actually as an opportunity to differentiate.
It will lessen the pain of due diligence. It will speed up your journey through procurement. It will make you more attractive, my bet will be, to VCs down the line, and it will just make it easier for people to do business with you.
I'd say the biggest benefit is to win the trust of your customers. If you can demonstrate to your customers that not only do you understand the regulation, but you actually achieve a higher level of compliance than what they might expect, you're going to win a lot of brownie points.
I think it's going to be quite soon when the question you'll be asked as a startup by your funder, by your prospective partner, and I think even by your customer, are you compliant with data sovereignty? Are you with the programme on what makes a fair digital market? And I think you'd better have the answer yes, because otherwise you're not going to get the funding, you're not going to get the partner, and you're not going to get customer trust.
Yeah. Again, of course, a marketing video. But you have seen, we discussed that a minute ago, or with Laurent, who is actually the right target group to discuss sovereignty. This is a video that has been targeting startups. And why is that? Because a lot of startups are doing solutions, for example, for medical areas. And if you build your startup world and environment in the wrong area, and then you have a medical customer, and these medical customers require data sovereignty, and you build it on the wrong data structure or architecture, then you have to change everything afterwards. So that's why it's also for startups very important, if you are in a sensitive area, to consider data sovereignty. We have not a lot of minutes left, but what we actually wanted to show to you is clear customer testimonials, where we had customers that were actually asking for data sovereignty. The first one is from Germany, and that's why I will explain it, because I'm from Germany, obviously. So this is ITSC. ITSC is an IT service provider for health insurances. So there are a lot of big health insurances in Germany that have ITSC as their IT provider. And ITSC wanted to implement a new or change their data center infrastructure, because they had a lot on-premise, and they wanted to go to a cloud infrastructure. And this cloud infrastructure should have been ideally a sovereign cloud infrastructure. So they are managing these data centers for the healthcare health insurances, and they wanted to reduce and replace their own data center footprint. And that's what they did, and they had an RFQ, and they, in the end, selected OVH Cloud because of the end-to-end sovereignty stack that we are actually offering with GDPR compliance, European data sovereignty, etc., what we all discussed. And of course, they also selected us because of the cost structure. That's, of course, another topic. And then, if you look at public tenders, also sustainability is becoming more and more a topic. So this is one of the success stories that we're actually currently implementing and working on. So ITSC is moving workloads more and more from on-premise to the new cloud infrastructure. The next one is a French one.
Yeah, exactly. We can really see the main sectors where we have sovereign cloud requests. Yeah, we spoke about healthcare. It's one driver. Public sector is coming back, but let's say that the process of decision is a bit longer. This is why it's just after. But we see also, and I will speak about this one just after, about new SaaS providers that they are targeting, in fact, sovereign cloud usage. So it can be for public sector, it can be for hospital. This one is something, so from France, so it's the Institut National du Cancer. So cancer, you can see this one, it's a real topic, and there is a lot of AI usage and different aspect of the database behind the cancer to improve, in fact, all the process from all aspect of the health chain, I would say, and the data inside is really important. So this project was managed, in fact, with Secnum Cloud requirement, and they are leveraging, in fact, the data in Europe. So we can really see this kind of usage where, in fact, we are in Europe, and even if we start from one point, there is also usage where we are working together as let's say, a continent, as Europe. And this is exactly what we provided in this project, the security information system and HDS compliancy. But behind all of this, yes, Secnum Cloud was also additional. So it was not only Secnum Cloud or only HDS. It's we combine, in fact, both of the requirement from these two regulations. Something which is really important that we didn't really mention. When we said sovereign cloud, it doesn't mean that it's really expensive. It should be accessible. Otherwise, you can't tackle the different use case. So it's also something that we have on our side. When we started to have Secnum Cloud, we said to the government that we are not going to have more than 12% between a standard offer and something which is Secnum Cloud, which include the fact that we have a different location, we have also a different IT system, different teams, etc. So now, in fact, the goal is more to align, in fact, the price for everyone. So that's really important. So it was one requirement from this customer, also having a control on cloud cost. You know, also the topic that we receive also from the VMware Explore 2 weeks ago. We see the price from the cloud is not really managed, and going back to private cloud, it's also something that covers this aspect. It's exactly what we are providing in this kind of use case. In the last use case, it's the one that I mentioned. So it's about Tetris. Tetris is it's a large cybersecurity suite for protecting IT infrastructure across industries. They are protecting also public sectors, etc. So they are really providing tools to have a view on different aspects of the cybersecurity and providing, in fact, the information to all enterprise and governments. And the main request here was to provide something which is the highest level of security, because behind this, they're providing security also. So it's really a core aspect that they have. We worked with them for, I think, 5-6 years ago. We started 6 years ago with them, and we have both. So a large part is on Secnum Cloud, and it's something that was requested. And we have also some SaaS providers that are based in Germany, for example, that they ask us to get Secnum Cloud level of security. So having the highest level of security, and regarding the topic also of today, is really important, because we need to provide choice for customers. And we just provide, in fact, a catalog, and after they pick and choose what they want from our side, from your side, from different providers regarding their use case, their usage.
And I see here 4 red zeros, which basically means we're done. But we have one more last video for you.
Short one.
A short one, promised.
Together we stand for a cloud that is different, where your data stays your data. You can disrupt in your own style, be sustainable from the ground up, and where fair prices give you the edge. Let's change things together. OVH Cloud. The world needs different.
And sovereign is the last word that's missing.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.